Hi, I'm Samad Brahmbhatt, a PhD robotics student at Georgia Tech, and today I'm going to talk about my study on hand object contact during grasping. I've been interested in functional grasping, and my PhD work has focused on observing human grasping behavior from the contact perspective. I also have some work in robotic grasping. Understanding hands in action has been a long standing goal in computer vision, and contact reasoning can take us one step further. It can also help with the simulation and design of soft robotic hands, make our VR experiences more realistic, and can also help with assistive robots and grasping. But first, we need some contact ground truth. Um, we know that we cannot use RGB or depth cameras because of occlusion and modeling errors, but when contact happens, pressure is exerted and heat is transferred. Comparing the thermal image of this heat residue against high resolution pressure sensor data, we see that the thermal image has higher spatial resolution. It can work for arbitrary surface shapes and doesn't require installing pressure sensors everywhere. So we use this effect to capture hand object contact for household object grasps, which we call contact maps. We create a contact DB dataset which contains almost 4,000 contact maps captured from 50 participants grasping 50 objects with a use and handoff intention. You can interact with this data and download it from this website. In another project, we simultaneously captured RGB thermal and pressure images. Our initial experiments indicate that the thermal contact maps also include some pressure information. Increasing contact pressure can cause a significant change in the thermal image by bringing new hand areas under contact, while increase in duration only changes the intensity. This is the effect used to predict pressure from thermal contact maps. The next project, called Contact Pose, takes this one step further by capturing hand pose, object pose, and RGBD grasp images along with the contact maps. Now, using the hand pose, we can associate contact regions with hand parts as shown here. And since we are interested in contact, fit hand mesh models to the hand geometry to get hand geometry. Analysis reveals some interesting patterns. The thumb and index fingers are the most contacted fingers, and tips are the most contacted phalanges. But a lot of contact happens at the non fingertip areas as well. Contact probabilities of all three index phalanges are much higher than the little finger. This indicates that all fingers are not used equally during grasping and can inform robotic hand design. Contact is concentrated at the thumb and index finger for handoff, whereas it is more spread out for use. We also discovered active areas on objects by integrating the probability of being contacted by a specific part of the hand over the entire dataset. Next, we use this data to learn contact models. Given the object point cloud and hand pose, we extracted some features to train a point net network to predict contact values for each object point. Here's an example showing the details captured by our model. Quantitatively, our contact models outperform mesh proximity heuristics significantly. Black here indicates that all features for those phalanges were zeroed out to simulate imperfect hand pose. We also learned image-based contact models using the object pose and camera calibration data included with the dataset. Finally, I'll mention a project about functional grasp synthesis for multi-fingered robot hands. Human demonstrations have been used a lot for this kind of grasping. Our insight was to collect demonstrations in the contact space rather than the joint space. This allows for greater visibility in the target, greater variability in the target hand geometry and parameterization. Given the object geometry and the corresponding contact demonstration, we develop an algorithm that generates grasping configurations for kinematically diverse robotic hands. We discretize the contact map and run an optimization over the joint angles, which places fingers at the contacted locations and away from non-contacted locations. After initializing this optimization from multiple low-quality grasp candidates, we select the result that converges best. Here are some results for using and handing off a hammer with different robotic hands. Thank you.